If you ask me what my favorite smartphone brands are, then Meizu is definitely one of them. I've had the Meizu 6, the 6 Plus and the 7 Pro, and I've been using the Meizu 16 as my daily driver ever since I've received it. Today I want to share with you my verdict after using it for 2 months as my daily driver, so let's get started. Now, you might have never heard of Meizu before, and I can imagine that, but they do produce a wide variety of gadgets and smartphones, and to be honest, they're the 7th largest smartphone manufacturer by sales in China. The Meizu 16 was announced in August 2018, and it is definitely a flagship model. It supports, for example, a Snapdragon 845, and it is Meizu's very first device with an under-display fingerprint scanner. It also has 8 gigs of RAM and up to 256 gigs of storage. With that being said, there are a couple of reasons why I do like Meizu devices so much, and the first one is quite an obvious one, but a personal thing: aesthetics. It has always been as symmetrical as possible, and with the 16th they do it once again. There's luckily no notch on it because I'm more a hater than a lover, let's say, and Meizu is also one of the very few brands that still has a 3.5mm port, and to be honest, it's pretty unbelievable how Meizu was able to cram those in and much more inside a smartphone that is only 7.3mm thick and weighs just 152 grams. I believe that the Meizu 16 definitely checks a lot of boxes and definitely avoids most of the controversial features. The display is beautiful. It has vibrant colors, good contrast ratios and very good viewing angles. However, I wish the brightness was a little bit higher during the day so you could easily read it outdoors, and at night a little bit lower so it doesn't hurt your eyes that much. The smartphone offers 2 kinds of biometric authentication and both are at the top of their class. Under that display is a fingerprint scanner, and that is accurate and fast, but the spot is very small so you have to put your thumb or your finger quite precisely. Plus there's always a face unlock, which is pretty fast as you can see. The 16 is a real powerhouse. The Snapdragon 845, along with the 6 or 8 gigs of RAM depending on the version that you've got, is doing the job perfectly and scores easily above 275k points on AnTuTu, depending on the version that you've got, of course. It also depends on whether or not you've set performance mode on from the settings menu. The same counts for the reading and writing speeds for the storage. It's more than good, just like the internet speed. Gaming is also therefore butter smooth and a pleasure to do. The device does get a little bit warm though, but I find that it's well managed. The only thing that suffers from gaming is the battery, and that's basically a Meizu thing ever since. The battery is just not good. Often it lasts me just barely through the day, but the moment you play a game for at least half an hour up to an hour, you will not make it till the end. And despite using a Qualcomm chip, Meizu opts in for its own mCharge feature to charge in as little time as possible. While indeed it's fast, close to 60% from 0 in half an hour, you're at the mercy of always having the mCharge brick with you. With the 16th you'll get the same 2 sensors as found in the Huawei P20, and for most of the users it is good. In short, photos are sharp, they're nicely lit and they're fast to take. Portrait pictures come out clean and the edge detection is, pretty good. To my surprise, there is a portrait feature for the selfie camera as well, and the software detects the edges here pretty correctly as well. If you take just a normal selfie, they're good enough as well, but I remain a fan of the wider angle lenses. Selfies are in 1080p with the video, but it's not very stable as you can see because there's no electronic image stabilization. I think that's kind of a big miss, like what Meizu is doing over here, because it could easily be implemented in this software Flyme, like Huawei and OnePlus is doing. But in general, I think that it looks pretty okay. There's a lot of wind today. The exposure lock is kind of okay. There is a lot of overcast, of course, but in general, I think it's okay. The microphone is something tricky, of course, with a lot of wind, but the most sad thing in my eyes is, what I think is very sad, is that there's no electronic image stabilization that makes the footage a whole lot more stable and nice and pleasant to watch, let's say. The camera application doesn't save the last settings, and that's kind of an annoying bug, so each time you have to set it back to HDR auto, and also the same counts for filming in 4K. It goes back to 1080p all the time and you have to manually set it to 4K. And on top of that, 4K video is with mono audio at just 16 kHz. It doesn't stop there, because there is, as mentioned before, no electronic image stabilization, which is a real bummer in my eyes, and that is just something that I can easily push over the air with a software update. I think that in general, even though there's like a lot of overcast today, that it looks really good, and that if you try to hold the camera stable, it is actually doing pretty okay, because it has at least optical image stabilization, but a combination of both will be perfect. I also think that the exposure lock is pretty okay, and that the focus is relatively fast. And as always, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I think that for a $350 device, and even though it's lacking electronic image stabilization, it's actually performing pretty okay for 4K footage. But you're gonna be the judge, so let me know in the comment section once again down below. There are a couple of things that I think that the camera could improve on, and the first one is that I would have loved to see a wider angle lens. Of course, you can put more people into the shot, but you can also take better macro shots. The second thing what I really miss is electronic image stabilization. It's just something quite easy to push over the air with an update, but on top of that you already have optical image stabilization, and if you combine those two, it is just perfect. The third thing is something that I really miss from the Mate 20 Pro from Huawei, because a light mode is missing on this device, and with a light mode you can take multiple shots and combine it into one shot, and you can reproduce and produce way better low light shots. The Meizu 16 is available as a Chinese version or a global version, and the global version, that's the one that we've got over here. And to be honest, I really like the software. It's fast, smooth and quick and responsive, but also I really miss one nice feature, dark or night mode, depending on how you want to call it. It ships also with all the Google apps pre-installed, running on Android 8.1 out of the box, with Meizu's Flyme skin on top, with a security update that is coming from last August, which is relatively old. This model also ships with the popular Band 20 for good 4G around Europe, and the internet speeds are therefore more than good. The reception for calling is really good, and the voice calls are clear, and GPS had a fix quick with many satellites inside with a tight accuracy. There's not much to say about the Meizu 16 in terms of specifications, aside from the fact that I think it's a beautiful performance beast. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And if you keep the price in mind, for roughly 350 euros, I think it's definitely a good steal. And if you want to know where I got mine from, I will leave a link in the video's description, so you can check it out as well. In the end, the only downsides that you have to keep in mind are the low battery life, and the camera for low light and video could be improved a lot. And if you can live with that, you get in return a beautiful smartphone with small bezels that is a real powerhouse for an attractive price. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have any comments, questions or remarks, let me know in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you in the next one.